Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on these social media platforms. Enjoy the video. That's right guys, today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super Broly and the three children of destiny. Kakarot, the low-class warrior, Vegeta the Saiyan Prince, and Broly the exiled warrior. So first off, I just have to say I don't like this idea that they're just putting these kid stories out there destined from birth. They were always going to meet on the battleground. You know, these kids are going to be the strongest, best Saiyans in the world, and they were going to grow up and become greatness, even rival the gods. That's the storyline the second trailer is really pushing, because it focuses primarily on the backstory of the film and not really their fight, the lead up to the fight. Probably what this movie is going to start off doing is by introducing these characters, their birth, everything in minus, and all this other stuff. Like the first 20 minutes, like theoretically that's what this movie is going to do based off this trailer, and then jump into the fight, then get us to all this other stuff. And whether or not they go back and allow Paragus to explain more of the intricacies of the Saiyan race, or how he raised Broly and taught him about the Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Legend and everything else like that, remains to be seen, but I think it's a good chance that that's what's going to happen. But focusing on these kids, focusing on the fact that they're going to fight each other and they were born around the same time and all this other stuff, it just feels like it's destined to happen, this entire movie's plot. And to me, if there's one thing in recent storytelling, like popularized storytelling, especially in Hollywood, that I absolutely hate, it's this kids from Destiny storyline crap. I mean, obviously we've seen this in the Star Wars movies. The J.J. Abrams, the new ones, are kind of saying the exact same thing. Oh, kids from Destiny, you're just born to do this, and that's what everyone's really mad about. But the original prequel movies did that well, as the same thing, and also the first ones did that, really. And then there's also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles remake they did a couple years ago, at least the first one. I can't really remember the second one off the top of my head. And then we also had it in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, both of them. In fact, the second one did it even worse, because it's like it was in your blood, your father was doing tests on you and all this other stuff. They really hammered and really grabbed onto that whole Destiny subplot, and it doesn't, to me, reflect a good amount of storytelling. Like, this isn't something that's compelling. I like the idea that Goku was a low-class warrior who was sent to Earth, accidentally fell off a cliff, and then became kind of the good guy who ended up being the savior of the universe instead of just another cog in a wheel of a major planet worth of Saiyans who were just like him and could have been just as bloodthirsty as him. And then Vegeta being the forgotten prince of this once great world who was trying to rebel or had some animosity towards the guy he knew but didn't have any actual confirmation of, killed his father, destroyed his planet, all this other stuff. And now we're introducing Minus. And I know I recently did a video about, okay, Minus doesn't matter because the first 20 minutes or so of this movie is really going to be just this flashback, and the Saiyans are dead, and there's nothing that they could do with Paragus or something unless they flip a lot of this on their head later in the movie that would really make us go, oh my gosh, I wasn't even looking at Saiyans in the right way, and this is how the Saiyans are going to be utilized in the future of the series. I want them to do that. I think that's one of the things they really should do, but they're probably not going to do that. And now we have Broly, who is exiled, and for what reasons? If Minus is going to upend, at least in an animated format, what Goku's character was, why he was sent to Earth in the first place, and kind of rob him of all of that awesome character development and restructuring of the plot that Dragon Ball Z gave us from the original Dragon Ball story, that's fine if that's what they want to do. But what is Broly in here for? I mean, if he was exiled because he was too strong, I guess that gives more credence to King Vegeta. I guess that gives more character plot to someone like Paragus, who would have some vendetta against Vegeta and King Vegeta. But what about Broly? What does that mean for him? Does he fight his power like Gohan does, where he's like, oh, I'm kind of I'm not really a Saiyan type warrior. I want to stay alone. I want to keep it to myself. I'm more of a pacifist type of person, and I don't really want to get involved with any of this stuff. But he has these emotional outbursts, so he's going to get stronger and stronger. And then Paragus decides that this strength and everything he's taught Broly about the Super Saiyan, maybe even the Super Saiyan God, is something worth harnessing and using for his advantage. So he kind of takes advantage of his son and allows his son to fight, or makes his son fight this foe or that foe in order to get the upper hand in any situation. That's how they've survived this long. That's really cool. I like that idea a lot. But to me, it it plays off the fact that this movie, if they do that, is too similar to the 8th film in the Dragon Ball Z movies, the one with that originally introduced Broly, because he was sent away, or he actually they tried to kill him because he was too strong, right? It feared King Vegeta. And maybe they change that around now. Maybe they make it make sense to the grander story of Dragon Ball Super, but it's still the same story, right? It's still, okay, cookie cutter. This is the Broly from the original story. We're just going to get a little bit more backstory, and heck, we might even get a little bit more character development with him, but he's really going to look the same. He's going to have basically the same power structure, and he's going to have basically the same story. You know, it probably doesn't hate Goku, but, you know, not even that's off the table, because they're introducing Goku in this movie as a kid, even though it doesn't really need to happen. I mean, I would be much more okay with them just introducing Broly, introducing Vegeta, and kind of expressing the rivalry between the Vegeta's family and Paragus' family, and that's what Broly is actually mad about, or what Paragus is so mad about that he's going to sick Broly on Vegeta or something else like that. But Goku has to be in this movie because it's Dragon Ball, and that's fine. But you're upending Goku's story. You're introducing a character with basically the exact same story in the original 8th film, and I don't see the point of it. I made a video recently talking about why I think Broly should be exiled, because I think he doesn't have a tail. Now, I know a lot of people have commented after that Broly probably does have a tail. We see it in the trailer, although we see a color motif that suggests that it's Broly, but not necessarily Broly, really. We don't know if it's him. The trailer goes through great length to show that he doesn't have a tail, or we don't know if he has a tail, because they keep cutting away from his waist, you know? He's wearing his sweater along his waist where his tail would be. So to me, there's a lot of indication that they're hiding it for some reason or another, or as some people pointed out, maybe he was born with a tail, but because of his strength, Vegeta chopped it off and he sent Broly away to die, and that's why he's exiled. But Paragus went to go save him, and by the time he meets up with him, Broly is already taking well good care of himself. That would actually be kind of cool. Like I said, still too similar. If Broly is this exiled warrior who was sent away because of a birth defect, then it would kind of remind me, and I'm sure everyone listening here kind of has the same idea in their head, of the movie 300. And I remember in 300, it begins with kind of saying the Spartans are a warrior culture, much like the Saiyans, and they decide to throw away every single baby with a birth defect because they're not going to survive in the world that they've created for themselves. And I like that idea for the Saiyan culture. And I know that's just 300, this whole thing overblown of Spartans throwing away babies who had birth defects or couldn't fight the same way or would have to grow up in weird ways. Like, that's just kind of a myth. No one's ever really proven it, and there's no definitive evidence one way or the other. Probably didn't happen is what I'm saying, and that's fine and good. But the story concept itself is super interesting, because even in 300, there's a deformed Spartan whose dad was exiled with him or left with him in order to actually raise his son as a Spartan. He comes back and he becomes kind of a major thorn in everyone's side, especially the kings. Just do the exact same thing again. You know, you have Broly and Paragus, for whatever reason, maybe super vendetta against Vegeta, because of what he did to Broly, because he was born with this birth defect and wouldn't let him be a Saiyan, goes out to train him, realizes that this kid has a lot of potential, a lot of major power in him, despite the lack of a tail, and then he decides to team up with Frieza, and they're able to control Broly's power and go after Goku and Vegeta for the Dragon Balls, whether it's to wish the planet Vegeta back or do something else. To me, that's really interesting, and it gives Broly kind of the exact same character arc that Goku's now missing, because they're reintroducing Minus into the main canon of the series, or canon, whatever you want to talk about with that. But with Minus, it kind of robs Goku of that, you were kids sent here to destroy Earth, you hit your head, and now everything's good now, and you're going to save the universe vibe. It's no longer that. He wasn't intentionally sent there just to destroy it, right? So with Broly being sent away because you were defective, because you were nothing else and we didn't think anything of you, you raise up and probably are the strongest Saiyan by the end of this movie that has ever existed in any universe whatsoever. To me, that's really cool. But I mean, I guess the overall discussion here, and what I want to hear from y'all, what are your thoughts on Broly being the exiled warrior? Why do you think he's exiled? Do you think he's super strong? Or do you think he had some kind of defect and you like the whole Spartan idea? King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta, what, you know, like, how much more can they tell us about that? How can they really flip this on its head? Goku being the low-class warrior, we don't know much more else besides that. I mean, we know everything that Minus gave us. How are they going to restructure it, or is it just going to be straight Minus? And these characters born around the same time, is that just a coincidental or really convenient story element that they're going to throw in here in order to build tension and connect these characters who probably, you know, even quite frankly for a Dragon Ball story, especially a movie, don't need to be connected whatsoever. There's no reason that Goku and Vegeta and Broly had to be born at the same time. Broly could be older than both of them. Vegeta could be older than both of them. They didn't even probably know each other by that time that they were all sent away. So why does it matter in the long run that they were born around the same time, unless Paragus knows something that they don't, or there's some connection between Broly's heritage, Vegeta, and Goku's, or something else like that. To me, I just think it's one of the things that made me a little about this new trailer, right? I don't like that element, that story plot element that's seemingly going to drive the rest of this movie. So I want to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions about this in the comment section below. Do you think this whole Children of Destiny thing is something to get excited about, or do you think it's going to be just kind of a crutch to get us from Minus in order to introduce Broly, Vegeta, and Goku as babies on planet Vegeta at the exact same time, and give Toriyama a reason to actually introduce Minus, something he wanted to do for him a long time, into the main animation of the series with this headliner movie? Or is there actual purpose to it and it's going to really drive the plot forward? My point is, it's probably the latter. I guess that's okay. I just wanted to put this out there to say, this is why I'm a little apprehensive to that second trailer, while everyone else was really going at it like, oh, it's the best thing ever, I'm super excited, like hype level over 9,000 or something. So what are your thoughts, guys? Tell me in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.